So I'm out walking and recording at a different time today. I think it's something to 7 o'clock in the evening, and normally I'm out and recording about 9-10 a.m. so this is quite nice, really, just to do a different time recording, and also just for me to be out walking after dinner. And I wanted to talk about 24-hour marathon that I want to do. I watched the Beau Miles YouTube clip about it maybe a couple of years ago now, maybe more than a couple, because these years are flying by, aren't they? But definitely a couple of years ago. And I thought at the time, God, I really want to do that. And I'm not a runner like him, but I love the idea of taking 24 hours to do the marathon. So he did it like 3 miles in the first hour and then a mile every hour. And he also added in tasks for each hour, because he'd been sitting doing his PhD and he felt he'd been sitting too long and not getting out there, and just felt very heavy and unlike himself. And I can kind of resonate with that. I sit and do my writing a lot, so I'm either at home on the laptop sitting up or feet up on the desk, or I'm sitting in the library or a cafe somewhere, sitting basically for many, many hours in the day writing, which, you know, I'm perfectly happy with. That's my career, I write. But I just think, you know, can I do something just to get my body going? Because my body's been asking for more movement, shall we say, and it's definitely got me to the running these past few months. And I thought, right, okay, can I do this? Is this the year for me to do the 24-hour marathon? Because there's other years I've watched it, and I've watched it over and over, and I've thought, no, I can't do that yet. And I've let go of the idea that I want to run all of it. You know, I can walk some of those miles at whatever time of the day it is, or jog, or, you know, run some, walk part of the mile that match you on. So rather than feeling obligated to wait until I'm fit enough to run a mile every hour, because that might not happen. And I do like to jump into these things and just see what it gives. So I'm in the planning stage, and what I found watching a lot of other clips, lots of other people have done this 24-hour marathon, which I can understand, and some have run just for 24 hours, so a mile every hour, rather than making it into a marathon. I quite like the idea of a marathon. So there aren't many clips about preparing for one. They kind of put that in everything. So they edit it and put it into one film. And I kind of like to do different clips if I can about it. So this is about the prep for it. So I've decided I'm going to do it. I've decided July and August, due to me being in the Northern Hemisphere, these might be the best months for me to do it, in terms of have light evenings. I don't want to go into too much of dark evenings. So I've decided that, and now I need to get deep into the prep. And I can't say of an evening I'm very active, and even in the day, you know, I have bursts, but I can't say I'm active throughout. But I thought my prep would be, I've decided that I want to do it July and August. That's one bit sorted already. And then I want to sort out routes. I don't think I'll be very happy if I'm just doing the same route every hour. And whereas Beau and other people in their clips have had this convenient mile loop from their home, you know, around their block or something, I'm not sure I'd want to do that necessarily. So a lot of my prep now is finding those routes that are a mile and what I'd have to do for them, and seeing if I can build them into a natural day. You know, how much can I build into a natural day of doing things? Because I naturally walk anyway, so some of my routes are naturally a mile. Can I do a mile to somewhere. So say from my house to the library, that's a mile. My task could be a particular part of my writing. Then I could do another mile in the next hour around my local town, because that hasn't been explored that much, and I could film. That could be a task. So as well as doing the routes, I'm doing the thinking of what tasks I'll do each hour, and building in probably some hours I might do 3 miles as opposed to a mile, and then there might be a few hours where I'm not actually, in the early hours of the morning, I'm not out of the house. I maybe focus on a task for those hours and see if I can divide it that way. I don't know yet. I might stick to the mile every hour and just do the mile in my back garden or in the house. We shall see. So that's really interesting. And then I also want to think about the tasks that I want to do. So I'll want some tasks that are high intensity. So when I have lots of energy, what can I be doing for that task? And when it's maybe early hours in the morning, or maybe when I'm tired or getting tired and I want to rest up a little bit, what can be the task then? So as part of my planning, I want to collate those sorts of ideas. So I'm going to take some time to do that. But routes, I want to find different routes to do. I think I started talking about that and then went off to something else. So I want to see what routes I have from my house round, because obviously I do have blocks to walk. Is the one that is exactly a mile from door round back that I can do. I've got a 3-mile route that will be, I'll say my first hour will be 3 miles probably, and I might end it with 3 miles, I don't know. But that's a nice route I've got, so I want to check that is definitely 3 miles, because I used to use it for my training for 5k runs. So I want to make sure I'm remembering the route correctly. And part of my prep, maybe every night this week, I want to just find certain routes that I can do. And if they're over a mile, perfect. I'm quite happy with that, because there might be some hours that I'm happy to do more. And I just keep track of that and do it differently. So the main thing is I just want to do it my own way. I want to find a way of doing this marathon the way I want to do it, but consistently following those hours, as opposed to I'll just do it over a week. Because the temptation could be, couldn't it? I'll just do a marathon, take all week to do it, when it's not set like this in a run like the London Marathon or other marathons. So that's part of my planning process. So tonight I've come and I've done 2 laps of this route, which is usually my running route, and that gives me a mile. So that's a definite one I could use, and I do that 2 laps quite often. So if I come and work around here for the day, then I can every hour come and do a loop round, a couple of loops, and then go back to working. So I'm quite happy with that. And as I say, just finding different routes. And I want to film some routes that can be part of my planning. So that could be a task that I do within the actual marathon, or if I do it as part of these planning videos. I just want to see my level of fitness, of what can I realistically do, because I'm certainly not doing many miles a day, or at the moment, and I'm not doing consecutive hours for a mile each hour yet. So I want to build that up the next week or so, and aim to do this, as I say, end of July or into August if I can, and just debate where I'll be going from and to, and what those tasks are, because I consistently do tasks, so I tend to get them out of the way when they need doing. So maybe I need to hold back some tasks, but I can do the washing, I can be cleaning in some of those hours in the middle of the night to keep me awake. I'm not alone in the house. I'd have to be aware of the noise that I'm making so I don't disturb anybody. And so there's a lot of planning that goes into it. As I say, we don't necessarily get to see in these edited films where they put a bit of blurb in about planning or why they're doing it, and then do it and show us, and it's brilliant. I love the Beau Miles one. I watch it often, because it appeals so greatly to me. But it's one of those things, isn't it? Just to do something different and talk about the planning, which is an important part, I think is good for people to hear. So my planning so far is, checking the routes. When do I want to do it? Or I've decided what routes do I want to do, and I'll make a note of those. What would give me a mile, what would give me over a mile. How long does it take? I probably need to quicken up my pace. The ones I've recorded tonight, I was more focused on looking at the app to see where the mile ended than actually going at a quick pace. But I know that when I'm in that marathon mode and wanting to do it and get back, then my pace will be a lot quicker. So, I'm happy to have that different, and I wanted to spend time recording those routes. I downloaded an app today, hence why this is my first day doing this, because I did have a Fitbit watch and that went wrong, so I had to get rid of that. And I thought, I wonder if there's just an app I can use and if it will work offline, because I'm never connected to the internet once I leave the house, so unless I'm in a cafe or somewhere with free access. So this is my first night doing this, just to see this route and what in theory I could do. So it's come up 7 p.m. if we're not there already, and I might do another route tonight. I might check the garden out and just see how many laps of the garden I'd have to do to get my mile in, and have that down. And then tomorrow I'm going to vote, because that's usually important. So there'll be a route in there that I can just check out for myself as well, and just see what that gives. And obviously in the middle of the night, if I'm out the house walking, I want to make sure it's safe. And I don't maybe not necessarily want to come into a park in the AMs. So there might be other road routes where I feel safer, where they're well lit. So I need to find those. But there's a lot of planning that goes into it, isn't there? And I'm going to enjoy recording those videos. And so recording my routes to show my miles. I might not record doing the thing unless there's a few bits I want to say, start, middle and end maybe of the marathon. I can imagine doing that, but I don't want to film it like other people have filmed it throughout. I just want to do separate clips rather than film it all and edit it. So there we go. So I'm walking back, see how far this route is. I've already done part of it. I just want to check another part of the route now. So hopefully you might be thinking, but if you haven't watched the Bow Miles clip, I would recommend it, even just for entertainment. It's wonderful. Even if you don't fancy doing a marathon yourself, just want to listen to an Australian guy and watch his other clips. I've gone well into his channel. I think he's brilliant. There's lots of adventures, so you may just want to check that out. So Bow Miles, BEAU, and then miles, as in walking those miles or running those miles. And some brilliant clips there. And there's loads of others. If you put in a search for 24-hour marathons, lots of things will come up for you. So enjoy.